Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a 1v1 game on the map Twisted Meadows, and this is going to be a game against an elf opponent. I think it doesn't really matter. I think I searched unranked, but I feel like it's been glitching and giving me ranked matches anyway. But I'm just tooling around because I hadn't played a game today, and this is going to be a strategy that I've done a fair bit on this in these audios, mostly in 4v4 random team when it was still a thing on Battle.net. And that is going for TC grunts, double barracks, and shockwave, and basically pushing them once you get level 3 and trying to haul them or do massive amounts of damage, whichever one really seems the best. This guy's going to have an interesting base layout that is actually going to prevent me from doing the strategy the way I really want to. As you can see, he is making a sort of a wall in front of his Tree of Life. Now, he doesn't necessarily always complete this, right, of course, but he is in fact going to complete this wall, which keeps my TC and my grunts from being able to surround his Tree of Life, which makes me do something a little bit different, which you'll see. He's going to go Demon Hunter. He's going to be creeping. Oh, man, this guy, 200 APM, this guy was a little bit better than I thought. He's doing sort of the tryhard sweaty stuff, right? And the Demon Hunter actually is a very strong counter to this if you get a little bit lucky or you just scout and you play it sort of more effectively. Basically, if he goes Mana Burn and he harasses me before I get level 3, it's going to be super irritating trying to get levels in the face of a Demon Hunter harass. And obviously, if I don't have mana, it doesn't really matter as much that I'm level 3 because I won't be able to get those sort of really good shockwaves. And if he gets to level 3, he'll be hitting me with level 2 mana burns, which means he can, if his army is nowhere near my TC or whatever, and nothing, sort of the buildings aren't, I'm going to lure this camp away with a grunt. You want to move it. To do this, you move it close enough to aggro the camp, but you don't attack move. And then you move it back. And then, supposedly, the Rock Goblin's not supposed to cast Boulder, but I guess I messed it up. I don't know, maybe you have to do that during the daytime. I'm going to mess up. I thought I attacked, force attacked to stop the aggro on this grunt, but I didn't do it long enough, I guess. So the ranged trolls still killed it. I was really pretty mad about that. You really don't want to. It's generally bad. Like you can afford to lose a grunt, but you really don't want to. Like I had two heal. I had another heal waves, or sorry, heal salve charge, but I'm gonna just use that on the TC, I guess. But sorry, I was doing drinking some water there. I was like, I'm level 3, and I was like, I don't want to just go creep a expo and throw one up in the meantime. But really, the strategy is all about timing, right? We're 5 minutes in, just probably get it a little quicker if I was maybe a better creep route or whatever. But this is a pretty decent route, right? 5 minutes is decent. He is going to be throwing an expo up at this point, and I was like, okay, what should I do? And this is a timing where he is about to hit tier 2. So running up and canceling, right, if I run over there right now, I'll probably show up and cancel some tier 2 buildings if he starts them in tier 2. I guess he could build them, like, he could build one here and he could build one over here, blah, blah, blah. He could do that. To avoid it, right, if he would have left enough room, actually, he might be able to build one here, actually, now I think about it. So he could actually get these buildings back here, and this base build is actually quite solid because he can uproot this, and he can get his tier 2 out. Or he can leave it closed, right? Or just reroute it, right there, and just keep the wall. So, but yeah, basically what I want to do, I need to keep the positioning of the TC sort of in the back and keep the grunts out front. So if he does in fact have a Demon Hunter, which I think I did scout with a peon. I had a peon run to his base. I saw this with the peon. It hit him. Hit the peon once or something, and then I ran it back, and I think I saw his Demon Hunter like over here. So I did think when I saw his Demon Hunter over here, I was like, oh, he maybe could have did this, but then I was like, he probably actually did this. So running over here and canceling this would have been really nice, but he can cancel both. I mean, I don't know the timings, right? So I don't know exactly if he's expanding or whatever he's doing. I'm going to speed scroll in just for the, to get there quick. And I'm going to avoid his Demon Hunter on the approach here, which is good. For some reason, I don't know if he TPs. I feel like he doesn't TP. I feel like he maybe feels a little bit confident. Maybe he doesn't know I have Shockwave. I didn't. Oh, did I have vision of these wisps? Oh my gosh! Oh no, that's his vision. I was like, if I had vision of those wisps, oh, that would have been pretty juicy. There's four. I don't know if I hit all four from this angle. I feel like I could have, right? But I didn't know they were there, so I just throw them on the moonwells, and the tree of life. I think it's actually probably better that I did this because I hit these buildings, and if I clear these moonwells, that's what's going to allow me to get to the tree of 8. It's upgrading, right? So it's the tree of ages upgrading to a tree of eternity, but it's going to allow me to get in there and actually potentially get this tree kill. And I'm not sure how it works when the buildings are upgrading. If their armor is like 0, I feel like it's easier to damage besides it not being able to attack the elf tree. I feel like its armor is different for some reason, right? I don't know if it's like it doesn't have armor when it's upgrading, but it always feels like the buildings are taking damage much quicker. So I have to assume there's something going on here. So these wisps line up. If I would have timed this properly, sort of messed up there, and then I'd like trying to get this angle. I suspect I could have got all 4 of those wisps if I would have hit it, but like clicking, it's really annoying because if you click a building, that's going to be the target. So I feel like if I clicked a building, I'd miss these wisps. So I really needed to try to like click right here. I think that would have probably caught, or like right here if I could have. That would be the angle, right? So, but I sort of struggled to do that. I probably just needed to move the camera to do it. I probably could have done it. Got all those 2 wisps there. But anyways, I did get 2 of the wisps. I did still also hit all the moonwells. I do have pillage at this point, so I'm pillaging. He doesn't TP. He sort of, I don't know, he doesn't really understand how much damage this and how many grunts this is. I don't know, he's quite brave. I guess he thought I was going to fight his army, which his army is actually quite small too. This is, in the 4s, or with this strategy, and especially in 4v4 random team, there's a lot of targets and a lot of different things you can sort of focus on attacking with the army. And it actually is quite important what you do focus on attacking, because it is a timing strategy. I'm really sort of all in with grunts and a TC, basically everything that doesn't affect air units for the most part. If I'm on a team and we have anti-air, then endurance or will, and if they have Weber and Snare, then Shockwave also potentially will, as well as the grunts. But other than that, this army is completely vulnerable to air, right, amongst other things, right? So also like no dispel, so sorceresses and blah blah blah. Dryads would be pretty annoying, but the main point here is I could go for the archers. That archers were a thing in 4s that I would, I saw a bunch of archers on open ground. I generally could smash that. Same with like a small number of riflemen, right? But the question is like, what's the most damaging thing to knock out? And right now for his strategy, actually knock out the moonwells is pretty big. It's going to leave him at 1 food over 20, which means he's supply blocked. But the other big thing that also knocking out the moon juice, he really didn't get to use it, right? He was already full health and mana. Maybe he did use it when he ran up, I'm not sure. But it looked like I just knocked him out before he got to use it, which is nice. But the other thing is, if I knock this tree of ages that's upgrading Tree of Eternity out, he actually hasn't built any tier 2 production buildings, which will draw, not only will it knock 10 supply off, I think it's 10 supply. Is it 11 or 10? Tree of Life is 10. Okay, so it's 10 supply. Not only is it going to knock off 10 supply, and it's going to drop this, it's going to knock half his gold income. It's going to be 50% of his gold income if this dies, but it's also all of his tech, right? That tech is so important, the timing, everything. If he doesn't have a tech, really the buildings that I'm worried about is not Ancients of War and Archers, right? It's arguably not even a small number of Hunts. Hunts are annoying if they're massed, but the main thing is Dryads, Dots, or Air units. If he doesn't have those, and also if he's not getting a second hero, or he's not getting that bonus experience from being teched, or like bears, right? Bears are really being able to rejuve, and me not having dispel is huge. Right, bears are a pretty good counter to grunts. They're just generally good. Red support units, roar, blah blah blah. So now it's like, okay, what do I go for now? I could try to go for the archers. I still could probably kill these archers. I think I do kill some of them, but the wisps are such juicy targets, right? Again, I don't, at this point, I don't actually know. I have a sneaking suspicion that he perhaps expanded, but I don't know, right? And this is basically like 5 wisps out of 7 that he has total. So if I kill these 5, right, he's going to be in pretty big trouble in terms of this may be all of his wisps, right? I don't know. I don't really think it's all of his wisps, but if there's a chance that this is all of his wisps, I can basically just completely shut him down by killing these wisps, which only they have 0 armor and medium armor, where they take extra from the grunt attacks, normal damage, and they have 120 health, which is half, a little bit less than half of what their yeah, a little bit less than half of what the archer's health is. So, and the archers have 2 armor, or are actually upgraded. They have 2 armor when they're upgraded. So, I didn't actually notice that, but regardless, I'm just gonna go for the wisp, right? I'm like, you know what? If these wisps are dead, maybe these are all of his wisps. Maybe he has another one like on some tree somewhere, blah blah blah. But they're gonna die really quick, right? So I'm just gonna go for these wisps. I'm gonna kill. I got 2 or 3. Oh, I didn't get that one. Oh, that's rough. I just go ahead and TP out. Is he gonna kill this grunt? Oh, he does. He gets level 4. That was kind of irritating. Maybe should have either TP'd sooner or just still chased. This was too. These sort of path was too small for the grunts in the TC. So I wasn't realistically gonna. I mean, I maybe could have chased him, but I would have probably lost another grunt or something if I would have chased them and still, I don't know. But anyways, his mobility is going to be quite bad with archers. I have a grunt running over here to check this expo. I think I sent a grunt. Yeah, I sent another grunt over to this expo. So I'm like, okay, knocked out 1 tree. I see that he has cleared this. This grunt is going to be sneaky getting a kill, which is really nice. I'm also sending a peon over here just in case, I want to expand it or I want to build a tower over there or whatever I want to do. And I have this grunt here and I'm like, oh, I see this expo. So now I'm coming from this direction mainly because I want to get to the shop to grab a TP scroll. I wasn't teched yet, so for better or for worse, there's an argument that I should have just went ahead and teched instead in the middle of all that. But I didn't tech, so I just grabbed a TP scroll at this shop. It was uncrapped, it was uncrapped, so I was like, that's annoying. How did he know? Did he have an archer over here? No, I got a wisp over here. So he sort of does know that I'm coming up the right side of the map. Also coming this direction, if he just runs straight to my base or runs towards me in the middle, I didn't want to run into his demon hunter. So this is pretty smart of him just to run to his expo. Now this is obviously, there's a grunt over here for one thing, so that also could have clued him in. But the other thing is like, it's his only economy. But his tree and stuff in his main, everything is, not everything in his main is gone, but he really has to protect this. And now he knows I see it, so he does realize he has to defend this or he just loses. Now, I see his Demon Hunter level 4. I didn't really look at his items. Actually, normally you should, but I just didn't. I was lazy. He's pretty loaded. He's got plus 8.9 armor. He's got nearly 50% damage reduction. I don't know if he has immolation or evasion. If he has level 2 evasion, it's going to be 20% chance to miss as well. So he's going to be really, really tanky. If he has immolation, that'll just be damage, right? But, and he has that TP scroll. So in terms of killing the Demon Hunter, right, it's going to be a nightmare. I can't surround. I have enough grunts. They're tanky enough, 700 health, to surround him and probably kill him, right, if I want to do that. I just speed scrolled down. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to speed scroll. His army's pretty slow. I've got this grunt over here hitting. And he's going to have all of his archers over here, all these grunts. And I'm just going to speed scroll away from his Demon Hunter. So I'm hoping to just catch him out of position, right? And I'm like, if he's building a tree over here, it'll go down so quick. I can just cancel it and it's cool. And then there is definitely some buildings left over there. If he doesn't have moon wells and if he doesn't have production buildings, even though he's got an ancient ore here and ancient ore here, he's building some moon wells over here. But if I can kill this moon well and I can kill this hunter's hall, and then possibly kill this ancient of war, and then possibly cancel a tree of life. I see him coming in. I need to be a little bit quicker responding to this. I just wasn't really paying super close attention. But then I did see it in time, and I have so many grunts. I'm like, oh, let me make a little, I'll get caught in the mana burn. I didn't want to get mana burn. Was the basic thing there. And I want to make sure he doesn't just look. He's sitting there tanking so much because he has all that armor. And he does have a chance to miss, as I see these grunts are missing. I don't know if it's level 2. Probably is level 2 if he's not using immolation. He's got full mana, so yeah, the mana is not being useful for him. It does help if he hits the Moonwell, though. He doesn't have to regenerate mana. Oh, is he stuck? He's stuck. Oh, he's going to have to uproot to get out of there. That's... I think the game has already basically decided, oh, no, he can uproot the Ancient of War. That's smart. I'm thinking there for a minute he would have to uproot the tree. If he didn't have an Ancient of War right there, oh my gosh, that would have been a nightmare for him. So yeah, I can do it with the Ancient of War, though. But yeah, I'm going to clear all this with pillage. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to go ahead and build a Great Hall over here just because, the game is pretty much over. It's just a meme. What do I really want to do for this? Really, the synergies and everything, what you really want to do is not really expand with the strategy. And even teching can become, especially in fours, can become important. But when you knock out like his tech and stuff like I did here, um, especially if you really knock it out before he's built any of the tech buildings or got a second hero, that's just really bad of him to get tier two, not build any tier two production, and not get a second hero. Like all the or most of the advantages of being tier two, I just listed, right? The second hero is huge. It's generally a big power spike. If you have two heroes and they don't, you can fight off an army that otherwise would be quite superior. Even that level one hero, a lot of them, a panda, a naga, a lot of them will allow you to do things in battles. The naga's a little bit squishy, so you really have to be careful against like all these grunts, right? The naga isn't super scary against the grunts. And it's not super scary against a TC, but if you just focus a grunt, and then it's like cold arrow. But the problem is that the naga's move speed is just I think it's fast, but like they've buffed a lot of the heroes' move speed, but she's really squishy. So if you do get surrounded, it's just generally over unless he has a staff, which he doesn't. So or whatever. But a panda's a little bit better. You can hit breath of fire, breath of fire, breath of fire. Grunts are pretty tanky, so it's not quite like ghouls or footies or something, but it's still a big power spike, right? And then, like I said, if you get tier two, like a couple of or tier two production, a couple of drives, a couple of dots or something, right, or a adept bear or whatever, it can really help. Or pump out a couple of hippogriffs, make hippogriff riders. So yeah, now his demon hunter's abilities are really short range, and he's a melee hero. So if you can zone him, I really messed up here. I had the surround. I needed to just sink it again. Right, I had it, but I got so excited about that shockwave. I was like, ooh, let me get this. But he doesn't have a TP. I didn't really check, but I destroyed his tech and stuff. He just doesn't have a TP or staff. So if I get another surround, that's basically good game. That was so close to being really good. But anyways, I've got the move speed with endurance aura, and I just like I said, the army it was just a whenever I wanted to get or just a delaying the inevitable. Honestly, my army was so big, and his resources were just so hammered. Like he expanded, I still outmined him by a net of neither of us got hit with upkeep. So, uh, but so this is gonna be this is the net anyway, but yeah, neither of us got hit with upkeep. So I still outmined him by like 1,100 gold, right? So and he expanded, so that should sort of tell you. I don't know if the pillage gold accounts for that. I feel like it doesn't, but I'm not 100% sure. It says gold mined, right? So it would be nice to know if this accounts for sold items or creeping gold or pillage gold. I don't know if it does. Um, Again, the wording here makes me suspect it doesn't. I killed so many buildings with pillage, and he was down. I'm trying to think, did he have Wisp in the gold mine with his tree? I don't think he had it fully mined, so it's hard to say. 1,000 gold is, or 1,100 gold is a lot, so it's like, maybe the pillage. But again, I don't know. I should test it just to know for the future. Maybe I'll do that one day soon. But anyways, this strategy is pretty funny to do, especially when it goes off in the face of a demon hunter with level 2 mana burn. It's actually pretty. I mean, if they don't scout it, they can definitely, especially if they leave this guy didn't leave his base open. It just so happened he underestimated how dangerous it was. If he TPs in there and mana burns me, he's gonna not every level 2 mana burn that he hits is gonna be a shockwave denied. So if he hits 1 or 2, he's gonna deny 1 or 2 shockwaves. Maybe he keeps the moonwells up. But there were so many grunts. I could have just turned on the archers if he TPs, and then maybe fighting his demon hunter in those moonwells would have been with all those armor rings. Oof, that would have been, and the slippers and the evasion. Immolation might have at level 2 immolation. Well, I don't know if he was level 4. I don't think he was level 4 until I TP'd away. So it wouldn't have had level 2 immolation regardless, probably. But depending on if he got level 2 mana burn. But yeah, it would have been. That's a lot of moonwells that were there. There was like 3 or 4 3, I think. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, if I surround him against the moonwells, maybe I kill his demon hunter. But I would have probably been more tempted just to go for the archers first. They're very squishy. But it would have been different. He can't afford just to give me that many free shots on the moonwells. Maybe he didn't realize I had pillage, or maybe he just didn't really care that I had pillage because he felt like, oh, I got an expo, I've got level blah blah blah. Well, level 3, I guess. It wasn't like a hero level advantage. I don't think at that point. So yeah, that's basically the strategy. Again, I had to sort of adjust because I couldn't get to his tree of life without like busting through the buildings or like a zeppelin, which I don't think it was even available yet. Maybe it was about to be. I don't know. If I zeppelined in there, that would have been really funny because he would have had to TP in, or actually, he wouldn't have had to TP in, but he would have had to uproot that thing and like sort of funnel through. I could have basically blocked it with like one or two grunts. So maybe he did have to TP in to really get there quick enough. I had a roar scroll as well. The roar scroll was huge. I don't think he detonated on it. Maybe he did. I'm not sure, but yeah, I popped that roar scroll to get the 25% damage buff on all the grunts. Uh, and it's a percent. I think pillage is a percentage based thing, right? Is it 50% of your? Uh, Dang, I forget what the tooltip says, but I think you basically get half the cost of a building if you destroy it fully, which is yeah, it's a weird. I guess it's not really. You just kill the building faster with the roar scroll, so it's like I guess it's just. I guess you basically just get your gold 25% quicker, right? So it's not the number. Like it's not every swing that gets you more. Uh, Actually, maybe it is. Maybe it's like if you do a percentage based damage, you get that percentage based. But anyways, yeah, it's like so you basically get gold 25% quicker from pillage there. Um, so that's pretty cool. And or if I would have hit his his units and stuff, that would have been pretty dangerous. That was a good item drop, basically. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think what the other item drops are at those camps. Yeah, I don't. Is it like greater heal potions and stuff? I'm not sure. Oh no, I think it's like the lab. I think it's dang, but that's a consumable. I think the labs drop permanent items, don't they? Huh. Interesting. Okay, so but anyways, that's off on a tangent. Yeah, I think it's greater heal potions and mana potions that also drop at those camps. Or Book of the Dead, maybe heal wards? Question mark. I think I think that's what it is, but yeah, so that was that's the strategy. It's important to know if they're expanding, right? But it's also I don't think hitting the expo was the go-to play there, because if I hit the expo, it's sort of when you get seen, especially if they haven't scouted you. Really good players are gonna generally scout you by that point in the game. 5 minutes in, they'll have a good idea. They'll see double barracks, they'll see maybe the TC or whatever, and they'll especially if they got Demon Hunter, they'll try to put the Demon Hunter on you before you're anywhere near their army. Especially if they find out you have Shockwave. There's less of a risk of like a stomps around. But yeah, if I go to his expo and he hasn't seen me, well now he's seen me, and he can just cancel those and detonate them. Right now, it's good that he cancels and detonates, but I don't get pillage gold for that. So he totally controls the pillage gold and the positioning. Right, the positioning is those are all the targets over there. So now if he cancels and detonates immediately, maybe I get a little bit of gold when he before he sees, but now I'm over there. He knows where I am. He knows that he knows what I'm doing. He knows where my angle of attack is if I want to go to his main base or wherever his army is. I don't actually know, but he can sort of he has a lot of time from that point to me getting to his main potentially. Also, the main is the tech, right? I'd rather have him. I'd rather if I could choose to basically smash his tree at his main or his expo. It's a little bit harder to do at the main because A, they could have it walled off like he did or whatever, blocked off in some fashion. B, there's more wisp. C, he can TP there if since it's it's his main is in the expo, it's not finished. There's probably a shop, right? He is maybe closer. I mean, he definitely was in this game. He may be closer to his main as well. And then there's all those moonwells. Right, so there's a lot of advantage, and also more wisps. So there's a lot of advantages. Oh, and also he is potentially tier 2, so he has more health on his tree of ages than his tree of life when it finishes. So there are a lot of advantages, but the rewards are also much greater. Right, if I destroy his tree of ages in his main base, and if he goes to repair with more wisps, and I manage to land a shockwave level 2 that will one-shot wisps, there's more wisp to kill. Right. like he had way more control of the amount of damage I could do at his expo. He has a lot less control of the amount of damage that I can do at his main because those buildings are finished. So so yeah, that's the thing. Pillage, the main. I get a bunch of There's I'm gonna get pillage stuff if he's especially if he's not defending it, right? So pillage gold is pretty much guaranteed at the main. Um, I can't ignore his army. 4 archers and stuff. I don't think the damage, like if his base is open, that amount of damage isn't really enough to deter me typically, especially if I have a roar scroll. I mean, he can detonate a roar scroll, so it's like so they're melee. But yeah, if I manage to get in there with the grunts and stuff, like I said, one shot wisp with shockwave level 2, he isn't more wisp doesn't always mean he's going to be able to repair. Because I can just one shot the wisp, so he has to be very careful. So it's actually great that he has more wisp there. A, B, it's it's his tech, and then like I said, he can't cancel, and there's just buildings all over the place, right? So yeah, it's actually not an advantage for him to have more wisps. They're actually, in fact, unless he can mana burn me out, and or send one wisp to try to detonate or bait out a, there are ways he can sort of fight back, but depending on a lot of stuff, it can be quite hard for him to do it. So. But anyways, that's the strategy. I thought it went off really well considering as a demon hunter. He I don't know if he even mana burned me once before I was like dumping all my mana for shockwave. He might have got me once, um, the damage is pretty much done. Right? I don't think he actually did deny me a shockwave. I think he hit me with mana burn when I had like maybe 40 mana or something like that. I don't know, but he didn't TP, so he leaves himself in a wide open position. I killed a bunch of units. I killed 9 buildings. Oh my goodness. And then yeah, like I said, the supply. Oof. Oof, that's huge, right? So, also his main may have tier 2 buildings to cancel, which you can argue would be as good or better than canceling his expo. I don't, if his expo gets up, but his main gets just mauled. I don't really care. I'll just, the expo will just be the next target on the list, right? Later, so he'll be back to square one. So flip through the tabs, and that's gonna be it. So ScryMind signing out.